To other news now, and same-sex civil partnerships will continue in Queensland, with the LNP government deciding not to repeal the laws brought in by Labor. Political reporter Chris O'Brien is at Parliament House. And Chris, what has Cabinet decided to do?
Well, David, after months of pressure from the Australian Christian lobby, who wanted the Civil Unions Bill repealed, and from gay rights activists who wanted the laws to remain untouched, the LNP government has decided civil partnerships will continue to be recognised. The only change is there'll be no official ceremony. People can still choose to have a private party, but the Premier says there'll be no more state-sanctioned recognition ceremonies.
It will no longer emulate marriage, which I believe is demonstrating a lot of good faith to the Christian churches who have lobbied us. But on the other side of the equation, for those in the gay and lesbian communities who fought hard to have such a registration process in Queensland, it preserves their legal rights.
And Chris, are both sides happy with this outcome?
Well, David, neither side is delighted, but the Christian lobby is glad that the state-sanctioned ceremonies will be scrapped, and gay rights supporters are pleased that the basic law is remaining in place.
Well, I must say I'm pleasantly surprised with the reaction. I was expecting the worst, and I'm so thankful to the LNP that at least they have seen a bit of sense with this issue. I think it's a little disappointing that they have removed the ceremony, but still, that's okay. We can get along without that.
So we're pleased that they have reversed some parts of this. What Campbell Newman has done, I think, has pulled us into line with the other states. We now have what is equal to a relationship register. So the parts of this legislation that have been mimicking marriage have been removed, and for that I'm very grateful.
And David, by the end of May, about 600 civil partnerships had been registered. Of those, 21 had a formal state-sanctioned recognition ceremony.
OK, Chris, well, that's one thorny issue that the Newman government's dealt with. How now is it going to handle its financial challenges?
Well, what it's not going to do is have any part of a national economic forum, which is being opened in Brisbane tonight by the Prime Minister. Tomorrow, union leaders and business reps and government representatives will discuss national economic priorities. Not the Premier. He's more concerned about avoiding a further downgrading of the state's credit rating. Almost 3 months after winning government, Campbell Newman is increasingly pessimistic about the budget.
Let me just say that we are very, very, very worried about the financial position of the state of Queensland.
The LNP wants to restore the state's credit rating from AA+ back to AAA. Instead, at least one of the international ratings agencies might downgrade it further.
This is the situation that we've inherited from the Labor Party. The Treasurer's now saying, look, that the debt might be even higher than $85 billion.
The opposition leader says the ratings agencies are worried about how the government will pay for its election promises.
This is why they have concern about the credit rating.
Ms Palaszczuk has loaded her MPs on a train to Rockhampton for a regional visit. She's had enough of the LNP blaming the previous government.
If we lose the state of origin tomorrow night, the Premier will be blaming Labor.
But there's no end in sight to the blame game.
We'll be going for a while. They left us with a lot of war crimes against our economy.
On Friday, we'll see an interim report on the state's finances, which are being reviewed by the former Federal Treasurer Peter Costello. The Premier isn't getting our hopes up for good news. In fact, he's warning of the opposite.
We are on a power dive into the abyss, and what we're doing is making the tough decisions to turn that around.
And that doesn't include attending the Prime Minister's Economic Forum.
Oh, look, this thing's more choreographed and stage managed than Dancing with the Stars.
But he'll need some fancy footwork to get through the economic challenges. Chris O'Brien, ABC News.